Yo, what's up, YouTube fam? Hey, did y'all get to see Monique Netflix special, man? Man, we gotta talk about this, YouTube fam. Let's get into it.
Major sounds in the kitchen cooking up, boy.
Yo, welcome back, YouTube fam. Y'all already know who it is and what it is, man. And we talking about Monique's Netflix special. My name is Monique. I just want to give my little opinion, about this whole special. To be honest with y'all, I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. It was mostly by ear. I think I was doing something else at the time when my girl had it on. I was hearing a lot of it. I really didn't sit down and watch it, through and through, but I did hear majority of the show. And man, it's a lot to unpack with this whole little not series, but this whole little special, man. A little backstory on Monique, and a little bit when I first heard about her or first saw, I think was with the Parkers. I don't know if that was her first job or whatever, but I know that was the first time I actually saw her. And I actually thought the Parkers is a classic show. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely my era. So, I'm gonna be a little biased, I guess, when I say it's a classic. It was around, it was a spinoff from the Moesha show, and they did great. I think they had like 4 or 5 seasons. So the show did pretty good, man. And I think that's when, if you ask me, that's when Monique was at her funniest. You know what I'm saying? She started out, from my knowledge, with the Parkers, and then she branched off to start doing other things. I think she ended up winning an Oscar later on, a couple of years later with the Precious movie, and she did good in that movie. Me personally, I don't feel like she's a great actor. Actress. I feel like she's an okay actress. I don't feel like Monique had to actually. I don't feel like she's done a role where she had to actually like push herself outside of that Precious role. Now the Precious role, she had to kind of embody another type of character. So I'll give it to her with that one. But I don't feel like any other role she had to really push herself to be that standout actress. You know what I'm saying? And she to me, she's not. To me, you got a lot of females ahead of her. You got Viola Davis, you got Taraji P. Henson, you got Angela Bassett, you got a lot of different actors that's way ahead of Monique. So I don't feel like she's a great actress. I just feel like she's an okay actress. She's like a C-list actress, if you ask me. But with all that being said, she had this whole little rant and this whole little boycott against Netflix a couple of years back, maybe about 2 years back, maybe. Somebody probably could correct me, but yeah, she had this whole little rant, this whole little boycott about Netflix because Netflix didn't offer her the amount of money that she wanted for her special in the beginning. And she started talking about guys like Dave Chappelle, speaking on them and how much, and other comedians that had Netflix specials. She started speaking on them and how she feels like she's one of the top tier comedians, and she felt as if it was a little racial biasness. You know what I mean? And but here's the thing with me. I know that systematic racism is out there. I know that racism itself is still, and prejudiceness is still relevant today in America. But my only thing is we can't keep making everything about race. You know what I'm saying? I am 100% with when black women say that sometimes it feels as if they're not heard or nobody cares about them. I am 100% with them with certain situations, but in particular certain situation, I feel like Monique was just reaching, man. I feel like Monique was seeing the success from all the other comedians on Netflix, and she probably wanted a piece of that. And she went on to try to get Netflix banned and everything else. So, to bring you up to speed, she coming out with this special, and I haven't heard anybody really talk about it. I seen a lot of negative reviews. Like I said, I was catching it by ear, and it was nothing that was drawing me to. You know how when you doing something else or you busy, you occupied doing other things, and something just draws you to the TV, whether it's a movie or even just a comedy show or whatever, and it just draws you to it because it's like, oh, you hearing something that you're familiar with or that's funny. Nothing. Like the whole special was horrible. I give it like 4 or 5 thumbs down, especially for the amount of shit that she took Netflix through. You know what I'm saying? I definitely give it like 4 or 5 thumbs down. I definitely do not feel like she's one of the queens of comedy. I enjoyed seeing her on the Queens of Comedy. I enjoyed that. But like I said, that's back in the early 2000s. I think that's when she was at her best. But, nowadays, I don't feel as if Monique is very funny. I don't feel like she's, that good of an actor. I think that latest movie she just did, The Reading, I thought that was hilarious, but it wasn't meant to be. That's the crazy part about it. And I critique actresses and actors. You know what I mean? I critique them because I'm a big time fan of actors, and I'm a big time fan of movies. Period. So I critique a lot of them sometimes. You know what I'm saying? If you're not that Denzel or you're not that Will Smith, and we know as an actor or actress, that's what you're reaching. That goal is what you're reaching for. But I don't see Monique being in that top tier. Like I say, I see Viola Davis. I see people like Taraji P. Henson. I see people like Angela Bassett. Those type of black women actresses. I see them as being that top tier. But Monique, no, not at all. And with this special, man, this special is horrible. Like I say, I give it like 4 or 5 thumbs down. And on top of that, like how she went about the whole rant, she started calling out Tyler Perry, Daniel Lee, Lee Daniels. He's another director. Oprah. She called out a lot of people. Even Steve Harvey went on his show and tried to, sucker him into apologizing to her and things like that. And at some point, I wanted to be on her side, but when she started doing all that ranting and started pulling comedians' names like Dave Chappelle and trying to make it seem like she's on the same level as Dave Chappelle, come on, man. Monique, you can't even compare at all whatsoever. And then my thing is, why are you begging, or why are you ranting about Netflix giving you the type of money Dave is getting when Dave is consistent? You know what I'm saying? The last time Dave wasn't consistent is when he left for that good period of time when he left Comedy Central. Comedy Central was, trying to take charge of his show, or trying to take more charge than what he wanted, you know what I mean? And kind of not giving him that type of creative space that he wanted. So he took off for that good bit of time. But outside of that, man, Dave Chappelle has been consistent, man, if not movie stand-up. So with Monique not being consistent in movies or stand-up, I didn't understand why she felt the need to think that she deserved the same amount as Dave Chappelle. Like, I really didn't understand that. And then you got to think, Monique is not a household name. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. Only the people, I'm not saying only black people know Monique. I'm not saying that, but she's not a household name. She doesn't make everybody laugh. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel she didn't deserve the amount of money they gave Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle had already did I think at least 2 Netflix specials before before this whole situation with Monique. So I thought that was crazy. She was trying to get everybody on her team. Like I said, this racial biasness thing, like as if old black people got to kind of, jump on the bandwagon to ride with you about how Netflix is being racist. And here we go. Here you go with a Netflix special. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's crazy. She's also trying to sue the network of the TV show The Parkers. So it seemed like, to me, it's almost like an extortion out of these companies. And at some point, I do feel like people, don't get what they rightly deserve with some of these situations. So I don't know her 100% of her business. I just know from what I see. And she burnt a lot of bridges. I think a lot of people has forgiven her for, burning these bridges. She's also on Stars now, 50 Cent show, the BMF Store. She's also playing a role in that. So I think people has tried to forgive her, but I don't know what's going on with Monique. I don't know if it's her husband, because her husband is her manager. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's when I started seeing a shift in what's going on with Monique, when her husband kind of got involved. He could have been involved, I don't know. But since he's been on the scene and he's been up front, I've seen a big change in Monique's career. It's pretty much been on a decline. And I think after this special, it's definitely on the decline. So with this special, she definitely came out of the closet, per se, I would say. Like, she's coming out talking about having feelings about, homosexual feelings, put it like that. She did a lot of storytelling that was not I don't know if she meant to not make it funny, but none of it was really funny. I think she tried to be so. You know how people would try to, when they stand up, if they feel like they don't have a lot of good punchlines, they try to use like real life situations to make people kind of, side with them or be, what I mean? It's like a sympathy type of deal. I think that she substituted her not being funny with telling life stories and things like that, and that's when she came out about her having homosexual feelings and things like that. And I just didn't take too much from it, man. Like, honestly, all in all, I really didn't take too much from it. I didn't find anything that was funny. I felt like she's a little too old to be acting the way she was acting on stage. I mean, I'm not gonna criticize her or critique her on cuss words and things like that, because I know all comedians do that, no matter the age or whatever. But I just felt like some of the topics that she was speaking on was kind of like, it was kind of beneath her, with her age. She at least in her 50s, you know what I mean? And some of the stuff just wasn't hitting. It's like nothing was really clicking for Monique. You know what I mean? It was pretty much crickets in the crowd. You feel me? I think the only time that she really got like, some type of applause is when she was trying to come with that sympathy tactic. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what I got from the special, man. I hate that Netflix even, worked it out with her and put this whole thing together, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a complete dud. Like, Monique, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? I love my black women, I'm sorry. But I'm not going to be biased when it comes to my black women. When it comes to this situation right here, I'm not going to be biased and say, oh, it was a good special, it was funny. No, it was not. Like, this special is not even being talked about. When Dave Chappelle came with his special was talked about. When even with Chris Rock, when he just dropped his special, that special was talked about like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Even Mike Epps specials are funny as hell on Netflix. So it's like, nah, Monique, like you took I feel like you took an L with this one. You could have took a different angle of trying to be funny, but I think she had a lot of that on her chest that she wanted to speak on. And some people can't do that. Dave Chappelle do that all the time. He have a segment of his show where he talk about something that really happened with him, or something that's personal in his life. But he always seems to come back to something funny at the end of the day. I don't feel like Monique hit she didn't hit the points right. You know what I'm saying? She didn't. It was no punchlines. You know what I mean? Like I said, I did not enjoy it. Like I said again, I was hearing it more so than actually watching it. But I'm pretty sure if I had been watching it, I probably would have turned it off. But because it wasn't actually me watching it, I was listening to it and I didn't find any of it funny at all. I think she was up there crying at one part or tearing up, talking about her grandma. It was just not. It just wasn't something that I would have wanted to pay for, and I probably would have wanted my money back at the end of the night. And that's facts. My girl say the same thing too. Like, that's something that I probably would have been pissed about paying for. And Monique, she's talented in her own way. Don't get me twisted. Don't get it confused. She is talented in her own way. I just feel like, all of this pressure in these big companies, it kind of like affected her craft. I think she didn't take enough time with her craft, and I don't know what else to say about it, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section, man. Was the show good? Was it okay? Did you like it? I honestly didn't. You know what I'm saying? Did you feel like it was like a sympathy thing with her? Or did you feel like, it was just something good and for her to put out? I don't know. I like I said, I didn't like it. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Y'all already know what it is, the Trending Topic Podcast. And I'm your host with the most, MajorQuee, and we out, baby. Let's get it.